Whoever wins these one-on-one matchups will win their team the series. After 2 games of round 1, it's clear the 2019 playoff bracket has given us some clashes that will prove everything for both players. So, from least to most intriguing, tonight's list ranks the top 10 best player matchups in the first round. Jimmy Butler was the only starter for Philly to shoot 50% from the floor in Game 1. He was the reason they didn't get blown out. He had a lot more help in Game 2, but LeVert comes off the bench for Brooklyn in Game 1, and Philly had Redick, Simmons, Harris, and even Jimmy guarding him. Harris exposed every one of them. The Sixers game planned and held them to 13 in Game 2, but Jimmy was only 3 of 10 in last night's game. Overall, the Nets have a great chance to pick up a win if Caris LeVert is dominating for Brooklyn and helping D'Angelo out like he did in Game 1. And after the brutal ankle injury he had mid-season, it was great to see him play like that. Nikola Vucevic finally made his first playoff appearance after 8 seasons of losing to start his career. The Magic's leading scorer shot 3 of 14 in his debut, but he's got a 1-0 playoff record as DJ Augustin destroys Kyle Lowry. In the past, Vucevic owned Toronto in the regular season, but now going up against a former All-NBA center and Defensive Player of the Year, it definitely changes the matchup for Nick. Marc Gasol shot 44% from three-point range with Toronto in the regular season. He's got quick feet guarding the perimeter, where Vucevic scores a majority of his points. Whoever wins this matchup, though, will have a massive impact on who's the first to 4 wins. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Garrett Temple didn't really do much to bother the Chef in Game 1, unsurprisingly. I was looking forward to Patrick Beverley trying to get under Curry's skin. Beverley was instead matched up on Duránt. I thought that was a questionable decision not to put Beverley on Curry whenever possible, but he finally got a chance on Curry in the Clippers' insane 31-point comeback, stripping Steph at half court while switching back and forth between guarding KD and Curry. Damn, this guy is underrated. But that was an insane comeback, all respect to the Clippers and Doc Rivers. Enes Kanter as Portland's replacement center helped win them Game 1, putting up 20 and 18 to outplay Steven Adams, who played some lazy defense. Adams thought he had an easy night without Nurkic playing. He was having a breakout season. Steven will be ready to stop Kanter in Game 2, that's my prediction. He shouldn't have 7 offensive rebounds next game. If he doesn't slow him down and the Blazers win the series, Enes will be an absolute hero in Portland. Were Derozan's playoff struggles left in Toronto? That's the question. He certainly got the pressured experience advantage in this matchup. Also, he's got the size advantage on Gary Harris, who has a tough task guarding DeMar in his first ever playoff series. Derozan took the youngin to school, or should I say young-ins, because whether it was Malik Beasley, Will Barton, or Torrey Craig put on DeMar, he put his mid-range magic on display. The second factor that favors DeMar is LaMarcus Aldridge being the clear #1 option on this team. He can turn to someone offensively, something DeRozan's never had. Speaking of DeMar's first option, LaMarcus has a much bigger challenge to deal with defensively, and that's keeping the strength of Jokic from backing him down in the post. Because of Nikola's historic passing numbers for a center, you can't afford to bring a second defender to him, especially with the Nuggets shooting on the perimeter. But the 7-time All-Star, mid-range assassin, LaMarcus, I think is ready to show how much he can make Nikola work on the defensive end. Jokic did have a triple-double in Game 1, but he held him to only 10 points. I know LaMarcus didn't play that well himself, but still, the fact that Nikola has to go out and rotate to his mid-range jumpers and really expend a lot of mental energy trying to stop LaMarcus in the post. This is one of the best big man matchups we've seen in a while. Can't wait for Game 2 tonight. At number 4, there's no greater display of the present versus the future than Mitchell versus Harden. In Game 1 of the rematch of the 2018 West Semis, where the Rockets beat the Jazz in 5, Houston easily took care of business. Donovan Mitchell, after a slow start to his sophomore season, averaged 27 points on 46% shooting since the All-Star break. He was 7 of 18 in Game 1, which of course ended in a blowout loss. He also was never tasked with guarding Harden. I understand they need him offensively, so they don't want to use his energy to stop Harden. But you just can't have Ricky Rubio guarding James. And to not even let Mitchell get stretches in the game to guard James was a big-time Game 1 mistake. Before the top 3, shout out to Matthew Ullman, who says there shouldn't even be a discussion for Giannis being MVP, and says Harden's value ends after scoring the ball. Interesting. Tonight's shout-out question coming right up. Get your spot up on the Speaks board, compete for awards by answering down below. D'Angelo dominated, scoring 26 points in a shocking road win for the Nets in Game 1, while Ben Simmons was missing wide-open layups, was rarely aggressive trying to score the ball, and was a -21 for the Sixers. Simmons was booed by Sixer fans after he missed free throws as well. He said after the game that if you're gonna boo, stay on that side. And after that, he bounced back with a triple-double in Game 2. He was aggressive early on, finishing layups, and then with the defense completely focused on him, he did a great job of getting Embiid the ball in the right spots. At the end of this series, fans will get to see who's the better rising star. Russell's shot creating and long-range mastery outdid Ben in Game 1, but Simmons' strength, playmaking, and finishing at the rim won in Game 2. We'll see how the rest of the series plays out. Clint Capela denied last year's Defensive Player of the Year time after time in 2018's playoffs, even after Rudy had the better 18-19 season this year, being rated the second most valuable defender. Capela is right back dominating in his face. Rudy did hold his own and displayed his improved low post game, but Capela matched him on the glass and forced him into 4 turnovers. With these top 2 centers meeting for a second consecutive playoff series, without a doubt by the end of it, we'll see who's the better, more valuable center. And the most intriguing player matchup of 2019's first round are 2 All-Stars at the point guard who were knocked out in the first round of 2018. Both Lillard and Westbrook struggled in those series, but bounced back with typically beastly 2018-19 campaigns. Game 1 saw a fairly even matchup play out, but does Westbrook's 24-point triple-double make up for the fact that he was 0 of 4 from deep and a -10 on the night? In my view, the lack of a 3-point shot that he has doesn't have to negatively affect his team this much. He should take shots from only the areas where he can dominate, because he's damn effective in those areas. Damian Lillard countered that triple-double with 30 points, but went 5 of 11 from deep, and that makes all the difference. So often players say they're the best point guard in the league, or they're top 5. In these types of matchups, it lets everyone know exactly where they rank. Here's hoping your favorite player and team show out in this year's postseason. Shoutout question is, what's the most interesting first-round player playoff matchup, and which team advances from it? If you're new and enjoyed the content, hit subscribe, and welcome to the community. But as always, thanks for tuning in. You mean the world. This was Dflow. See you next video.